We will now continue by taking a look at the various processes that come together to create the overall strategy process. As I've noted before, there's a large number of concepts that fit together to create a strategy, but that it is important not to become a slave to these concepts. These models are useful, but they're not correct. They do not tell you exactly how to do strategy. They guide you in your process. And I have identified myself 7 stages that we need to consider. And these stages are quite simple. Make sure you have clear vision and mission and goals. Make sure you understand the world around you. Make sure you know yourself. Use these together to generate ideas of what it is you want to do. Evaluate those ideas. Are they in line with what you need to achieve? Are they in line with your culture? Are they in line with other people that you've got around you? From those ideas, select those strategies you're actually going to try and to implement. A good strategy implemented will lead to change. Evaluate that change and repeat this. This is a process, this ongoing process. Do not find yourself in the situation, which I have done myself, of when you were sat in an office writing a plan and you're writing another plan in 5 years' time and no one you think has actually read the previous one. And of course, being a strategist, I do have my own little model here that is a cyclic, it has a pathway through it and it comes through. So it is a cyclic process, as I have stated before. So be aware of the way the strategy process comes together. Like I've said before, I believe there are a number of things that need to be brought together. You need to remember, and this is in no particular order, what your strengths and weaknesses are. You need an honest internal audit of yourselves. It's no good starting from a point of view of praise. This can be a real problem, especially for students sometimes who are asked to do evaluation of organisations they work for. They're very, very reluctant to criticise those organisations. You need to look at them. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? You need to also, of course, look around you. What are the opportunities that you can fly in the organisation and in the world around you? And what are the threats? What are the desperate tidal waves that might swamp you? And again, you have to be honest about your comparative strength. There's no point pretending perhaps that you're a world-beating organisation if you're only a small one. You have to fit together. And we'll see a very good model later on of the York St John and Leeds Metropolitan writing themselves vision statements and mission statements, which reflect the reality of the fact they're not world-beating international universities, but they are ones that can offer a service locally to people and in specialist areas, which they're very strong. You also need to evaluate all the things that are around you about your culture that bring you together as to what it is you're going to try and to achieve, to set yourself clear vision and mission objectives, clear and achievable. And then you bring all these things together to sort of generate the ideas of where it is you want to go. So based on what is possible and what is needed and what threats are out there and what it is that your people are motivated by and are driven by, you can create a roadmap to the future. And from here, you can start to generate yourself some strategic ideas. And once you've generated those ideas, you should write them down, list them, and evaluate them. You have to decide which of these ideas are the strongest, which are the best. And from that on, you can actually decide exactly what it is you're going to try and do. And once you've tried to do things, you should try and walk a mile in the shorts or in the shoes of the people who are going to actually be doing this on the ground. And you should be willing to evaluate it and feed it back to the beginning and work out whether or not this is in tune with what it is you set out to do, whether it's in tune with the culture and the beliefs of your organisation, and help you take things forward so you do it. So the first thing an organisation needs is vision. And a vision statement answers a very simple question. What do we want to become? And it is very, very important that you have a clear and comprehensive understanding of what it is that you want to become. It is very important that people agree on this, that people buy into it. Because if people who buy into it are more likely to achieve and work hard for the organisation. So we'll look at somewhat people who consist of visions now. A couple of guys, Pascal and Athos, who are actually American management consultants who went to Japan, looked at the idea that great companies make meaning for their people. These look at how Japanese industry was achieving massive post-war growth after being literally flattened in the Second World War. And so it became very important to people how to learn this. And interestingly enough, most of the ideas that were taken to Japan were rejected by American business. They didn't want it. That's why these people ended up trying to implement their ideas in Japan, where they were desperate for change because they needed to grow. And one of the things they talked about is, what exactly do we mean by making meaning for people? Well, a long time ago, about 400 AD, St. Benedict, and this may be legendary, but like most legends, there's a lot of legends around strategy that give you good ideas, was walking past a building site, a construction site, and he saw 3 people working, and he asked them, what are they doing? First one said they are breaking rocks. The second one said he was making a living. The third said he was building a cathedral. Different levels of buy-in. I'm just here to do what I'm told. I'm here because I need to be here to make a living. That's still more buy-in. That still actually shows some commitment to understanding why you're there. Thirdly, completely bought into the organisation. Everything else is secondary. We're here to build a cathedral. So, what are the expectations and purposes of an organisation going through? What do we mean by that? Well, what you need to know is, what is your territory? That might be geographical, but it can also be things like I was talking about. York St John, Leeds Metropolitan, University of York, University of Leeds, all have different territories in the academic field in which they operate. And so you have to decide what sort of organisation you want to be inside operating that territory. And if you're going to decide what sort of organisation you'd be, you actually have to decide what sort of decisions do you need to make. How is it you're going to move forward? Vision gives you direction. Vision comes before the mission. Vision is then implemented through strategies, through business plans, through employee objectives. Though often what people call strategy, as has been noted before, are actually tactics. We'll say to somebody, what is your strategy? Our strategy is to grow the business. Okay. Our strategy is to build new products. Actually, these are tactical ways of achieving things. The strategy is the greater vision than that. Once we have a vision, we may decide to give ourselves a mission statement. Not everybody has mission statements, but mission statements ask the question, what is our business? Mission statements have many purposes. They're an enduring statement of purpose. Why is it that you're going to go in that? And they should hold together for a while. They should be able to give some people ideas in the future what are you doing that. They distinguish one organisation from another in similar enterprises. So it's very important to recognise that. I've made the point about different types of university. They give you a reason to continue going. Why is it that you exist and alongside other organisations? If you were too similar, why would you not become part of one organisation? Why is there 2 universities in York, York and York St John? Which is why the 2 universities in Leeds, Leeds and Leeds Met. In fact, there's several universities in Leeds as well. What does it want to be? Who is it you're working for? Who is it you're serving? Okay. And there are different schools of thought as to what it is. We'll look at 2 main schools of thought. One of them is that it's actually there to capture the practical raison d'etre of the organisation. Why is it you exist? What is the point of your organisation? Others are that is actually there to capture the emotional drives. It's to link into the culture. It's to motivate, it's to inspire, it's to drive people forward. But others, and the little diagram I have as part of my main diagram beginning from Campbell, argues actually for both, that actually it's about capturing hearts and minds. It isn't just about capturing one or the other, and that's important to remember this. And so mission statements aren't always known as mission statements. If you're looking for an organization's mission statement, you may want to look for other things that it might be they're called. And they have a number of names, often referred to as the statement of purpose of the organization, a statement of principles, philosophy statement, and there are others, some of which are listed in the notes that I won't put here. So what characterizes an effective mission statement? Well, put thing, they're broad in scope. They will generate a range of feasible strategic alternatives, the things that you can actually achieve. They should be not too specific. They should relate to various diverse stakeholders. They have to have something in there, not for everyone, because to do so there is a potential disaster, but they should allow you to actually work with a variety of range of people. They should arouse positive feelings and emotions. They should make you feel that you know you're good about things. They should motivate your staff. People should make you feel that this is a mission that's worth putting themselves out for. You need to give a good impression of the organisation. Excellent direction is worth your time, support, and investment. Anything that doesn't comply with the mission statement should be screened out as strategic options. And as we said before, the vision might be the viewers and view in the future, but a mission statement must be dynamic. There is, however, a strong word of warning here. A mission statement might not be what it says on paper. If you're looking for organizations' missions, look at what they're actually doing. Don't just look at what they say they do. Mission statements, and this great criticism of them, have often become marketing. They're simply about organizations telling people what they want people to think they are, not about what they actually are. And this is a very, very important difference. So do not be fooled in simply saying, if I tell you what is the mission of such an organization, do not just go to the website and find it. Go and look at the organization, talk to people at the organization, get a feel for what actually is the mission of that organization.